Morning. Morning. As you can see, Christmas has come slightly early this year. I'm ahead of the game. Surrounded by wreaths and garlands, and I'm getting in the mood. These are, believe it or not, are artificial. The result of my next door neighbour throwing out an artificial Norman, about 8 or 10 feet it must have been. It obviously got broken and whatnot, and it's lying at the back of the workshop there. He's got a place, he's over the back from me, and he's got a place where it puts stuff that's out of sight. And so I clocked it and went, oh, Peter, what are you doing with that? I've thrown it out, says he. I said, well, just throw it in my direction and I'll turn it into... And so this I did. Family, friends, and maybe hopefully sell one or two. We'll wait and see. But, and garlands. I made some garlands too. The beautiful thing about these was saving it for a start. It's upcycling, recycling, anything at all. I hate seeing the thought of it going into a landfill and lying there for... So, anybody getting them, these can... they'll stay for years and years and years. They'll not need to do much with them at all as such. Add to them, I suppose, and yeah, that'll be good. So that's what I've been, amongst other things, of course. I'm busier now than I've been for a long time. But interesting too, of course, and still a lot of people coming back and forward. Sticks, yes, been moving along quite steadily. You wouldn't really notice the difference because I just keep replacing, but the reason I'm popped up today is because I'm busy working on something that I didn't really think, I don't really know it. I'll let you see them anyway and see what you think. I think it's fine. It's Leyland. You don't really think of Leyland for sticks as such at all. More a problem hedging, windbreak, screening, fast growing, neighbours falling out with each other over that type of thing. But I had a particular stick staff to build, and I'll let you see it. This it's just about finished. It's not far to go. This is it here. This is Leyland. Yeah, very, very nice, very strong. I must have picked this out about nearly 2 years ago, and I peeled it at the time. It was amongst a whole pile of stuff that was going to get burnt somewhere, and I spotted it and I spotted the 3 of them. But this was the only one I peeled. This is a famous grouse. This is going away to this big man. It's about 7 feet, we reckon, and whatnot. So it's a famous grouse stick, this one. It's got it on top, as you can see. It's 23 and a quarter carat gold leaf that's on that. Yeah, and so it's very good. I did peel this one when I first came across it, which was green, so it peeled easily, compared to the other 2 which I just peeled, but I put them by. I put them in a place where they would air off, and basically forgot all about them. And remembered them a while back there and went, oh, I was in that particular area, and I went, oh yes. I was fortunate where I stored them was they were open to the air, not the sun, to the air, and sheltered. And nothing had changed in that time since until I went back from them. But well impressed. The only problem I've got with them is that there's a bit too much of a taper on them. But yeah, the taper's kind of quick rather than slow. So yeah, we're busy. We've got bits and pieces still to do. This still to finish off the tether as such. The leather thing went on the top, and the resin, and as I say, the famous grouse and gold relieved. And so there you are. But chuffed with that one. Chuffed with that, yes. The other ones, as you can see, I don't know whether you've thought about it as for a stick, but I'm very, very pleased with it. It's something different. I like doing something different. I like not using the same stuff all the time, and different materials and whatnot. But this has got this will have the old halfpenny on the top. Still have a lot of work to do on that one and this one. But good solid heavy sticks. This one's got a bit more of a bend than I would probably like, but just to say, you never know. It's surprised you what people go for. I had a couple in there. They were in to buy sticks, and sticks they bought, but his wife got her eye on had a whole load of wooden toys that were up on the mezzanine bit up the back there. That had been there for donkey's years, and I maybe had the chance to sell them before and didn't bother, but anyway, at this moment in time I'm busy trying to clear the decks, and so she took a real notion to them, and so I ended up buying most of them, which I was very surprised about it. And the funny thing about it was that it only came with a certain amount of money, and it's all cash. I can't do credit cards or things like that. I'm afraid it's cash or nothing at all. But we didn't have enough money, and asked the cash line. I said, "Oh, there's one up there at the garage." "Oh, you're right." So anyway, twice he had to go to the garage. By the time he had left the first time to get what he needed for the next lot, she had bought more and she had to go back again. He says, "Buy no more," he says, "but I'm away this time." So that was that. But she was dead chuffed with them as such. A real interesting couple. And she was masked up, but he wasn't as such, like, you know. I must admit in here I don't really wear it. I don't wear it at all as such. I find it difficult to find out what people, you can't see the face, you can't see the expressions, you can't see, it's just that difficult business altogether. But for a lot of people now, I do get a lot of people coming, and they are obviously concerned about it. There are people pass me driving now that are wearing them all the time, so strange business. But so there you are. So yes, interesting. The Leyland thing's very interesting. It's a hybrid, of course, and it takes Leyland takes its name from the chap who originally, who was a, what was he now, banker or something, Christopher Leyland. But it's a fascinating story, and it's a fascinating genius when you get into it. And it's, if I remember rightly, it's off two species. He purchased an estate seemingly way back in the early 1800s, and it was passed on through the family, but one of the family that was passed on to decided to get a particular person to lay out the gardens. And they brought obviously trees from all over, but these were North American, Monterey, Cypress. Well, it was one of them is the, and the other one was a Newkit, Cypress, Newkit. Anyway, if you look it up, it's a fascinating story, and yes, I'd never known that about the Leyland. You'd heard about them and all the rest of it, and you'd watched the programmes on the television where people were going to kill one another because they planted them at the back of their garden. And there's no doubt about it. I've got one at the back of mine here that was planted for a particular reason many years ago. That reason doesn't exist anymore, but I'm afraid the hedge does in some form. And every so often I've got to go in and chop it back sideways, not height-wise. I can't touch it height-wise, that's their thing, but sideways I've got to actually take off. And whether I'll manage it again, I don't really know, but the last time I had to do that, I had to build that kind of temporary scaffolding along and spent a full day with loppers and saws, that kind of thing, basically taking off a lot of the growth on my side because it overhangs the garden as such. Not really, but it doesn't shade me because I catch from the south. It shades the garden that, as I say, it was there for a reason and whatnot. So, anyway, that's it. We'll call it a halt to that. I don't really know. My timing's not thing with the day. I'm not sure where I am with it as such. I did set that, but I don't hear it going off, so I think we must be getting pretty close. But must catch the next video. The next video I had a very famous visitor buying sticks off me and something else as such. So and yeah, so there's a little bit of a video with this person. So I'm not going to put it up just yet as such. There's an agreement on when it can go up as such, but it was an interesting day to say the least, and we made a small video. I was kind of pushed into it. It wasn't my idea at the time, but once the person found out that I did, was more than keen to take part in that a little bit. So, but it worked all right. It was fine. But whiskey had to be drunk just to steady the nerves, but that's the way of things. Anyway, I'm going to go. I've got loads to do, and it takes me that long to do it now. I really need to get started earlier. But all the best, and hope you are all well, and everything's good with you. Time is working this morning, so the time's not bad at all. I just hope that I did set it to the right time. But yes, look up the Leyland thing, the land guy, sorry, and because it's closely tied to Virginiana. What was it now? Well, it's closely tied to a lot of other things. Interesting read. Anyway, all the best. We'll catch you again. Cheers.